Like, I can't even make that into a title, but like, that's an old man getting his goop all over a just stop, bro. Are you fucking telling me old man gets his slimy, goopy ass hands over body and tells her that they had a child to get? Oh, dear God. What the fuck? I'm actually deceased. The way this grown-ass man gooped all over Tanya to explain to her, you are the mother, was something I was not expecting. And unfortunately, to even more of my surprise, I guess he's technically right. But again, on one hand, she is serving in the military, so I guess on one hand you could argue being talked to like an adult is to be expected. But phrasing. Yes, her idea in his engineering did make the torpedoes. We have to agree to that. But phrasing. Do me a solid though. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Patreon full-length reactions, of course. God damn. I mean, we've seen Tanya scared, but this is definitely in like the top handful, like the top 5 moments where she might have seen her life flash before her eyes. And it's very funny to think that this snotty bastard is one of those reasons. And it's very funny to me because you have to really take a step back and consider a lot of Tanya's issues are of her own making. But like a religious person in our own world, it is very convenient to blame the good or the bad on a god in the sky or a devil down below. What does she say in this episode? It's all being X-fault. There's that one fucking Simpsons meme where it's like, am I the issue? No, of course. It's the kids who have a problem. That's fucking her, bro. Now, is there good arguments to be made? Yes, being X did send her here. So, in doing so, can you blame a good variety of all the bull? Yeah, of course. But it gets to a point where you just want to fucking clock her. And you may want to say, Brandon, she's a child. It's fine. She needs it sometimes. A little tough love goes a long way. So, on her little mission to go out, right? She immediately was like, you know what? Gotta be that being X. And no, because what happened? What sent you on the suicide torpedo mission? Yourself. Because when people ask you, or say and bring up a problem, you don't assume you will be the one to do the thing you just came up with an idea. And like, she even kind of talks about this, right? It's like, oh man, it's very easy to think of things when you don't think you're going to be the one in the driver's seat. Tanya, we're almost done the second season. At a certain point, you should realize at this point that maybe if you're not willing to do the thing that's like this amazing moment, don't bring up the idea. And I can already hear the arguments. Oh, but if she doesn't, the Empire will fall. She might get killed. I'll be honest. I think there's more of a likelihood of her dying because she keeps this war going than there is for the Empire to fall into defeat. But she'd be a Japanese salaryman. Quitting's not an option, and you have to do your job to the best of your ability. She can't help herself. But it is hilarious that no matter what happens, when this is absolutely a product of her own making, gotta be that being X's fault. No, you know what being X has probably done? He sent you here probably so you could topple the Empire, because fucking knew the stubbornness of this businessman would lead to the downfall of the Empire. But I don't think being X has actually done anything else past that. Like, I think, yeah, maybe being X has introduced other characters and stuff into the equation, but actively you are the one ruining your life, not being X. At a certain point, it is time to take responsibility rather than just blame someone else. Tanya's like someone who gets into a relationship, breaks up with the person, right? Nah, you're the issue. And does that a dozen more times. But always the person is the issue, never herself. God, I love Tanya. Now, I will say, what she came up with is pretty brilliant. Unfortunately, she had to be the one to drive it, right? So the concept of this fleet, not like, you can't approach from the front, right? They have the superior firepower. So the only thing that would make sense would be something like torpedoes, but torpedoes aren't accurate enough as it stands to do enough damage. So the idea that she came up with is mages pilot them up until the last moment, get the fuck out of there, hopefully not die from the blast in front of them, and then they can act as like a infiltration team, right? And it works. It works very well. Seemingly no fatalities or any sort of issues on our side. But, you know, it's a very... like, this has to be one of the worst missions to send a mage on. You have to use all your magic to make sure the pressure's not killing you, that you can breathe underwater, that you can fucking see underwater. It's just everything about it. And then you gotta fly up to the surface and start blasting fools. And it did work. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But goddamn, like, no one wants to do this mission, and it's hilarious how this is probably just, like, the starting point of the idea she'll come up with, and be like, surprise Pikachu face, what do you mean I have to do it? Tanya, my girl, I can't. I also really appreciate just how devastating it looked. Like, when this initially happened, I was like, holy fuck, like a bit of a jump scare. Such an effective battle. And I mean, it was over before they even had any idea what the fuck was going on. But I do have to say, my surprise second favorite moment was this. So, both of them kind of know this is like, it's mostly for show. All right, Tanya, just don't make an embarrassment of yourself. And Tanya, being the little shit that she is, boy golly does she make an entrance that is anything other than down low. He's out here thinking, yeah, friends who get snuck in through the back door. Well, hopefully Tanya doesn't cause a ruckus. And what does this little goober do? Fucking flags be a-waving. Hey, like, she's such a shit, man. And it's so entertaining. And knowing Tanya's luck, right? One of two things will happen. And it will depend on what type of ending the author wants to go for, right? If the author's planning for a dark ending, what will happen is Tanya will suffer a death. Like, you know, like, it'll look like things are happening and then, shit, my life's ruined. Or, you know, she just will have a miserable experience because, you know, she had to fake her death and just life is shitty. Or the good ending, which would be, even after the Empire falls, she continues to be forced into work from the other side that is anything other than peaceful. Now, either way, Tanya ain't getting a happy ending. It's just a matter of how unhappy it will be. But it's funny, because you know damn well she ain't having a happy ever after. And that's what's incredibly entertaining about this whole exchange. But really good episode. I wasn't sure what to expect from it, especially after the brilliant directing they did at the end of the last episode. But I mean... you know, Tanya can bitch and moan about being X, but at a certain point, it is time to take accountability. And is that day today? No. Will that day ever happen? Probably not. It is Tanya after all, but goddamn is it entertaining. Your thoughts? What did you think of this week's episode? And what do you think of motherhood? When it comes to Tanya, that is disturbing. Thoughts? Like, comment, subscribe, Patreon, full-length reactions, of course. And hey, if you're already over on my Patreon, I'll also give you that video shout-out because my patrons are on my YouTube channel. Alright, so today we've got Powwoof, Konako1110, Dampolini, Kenneth Dade, Wayne Aldequist, Old Man, David, and Luke Brownfield. So I appreciate the support. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.